Hello YouTube, and welcome back again to another horror film review. This is a review for the Horror Globe. This is a classic ghost story that I had seen when I was a child, um, and it really scared me back then, and it does scare me to this day. It's done in a very you know classical way. The film I'm talking about is The Haunting of Julia, starring Mia Farrow, Keira DeLay, and um, and Tom Conti. Keira DeLay, of course, we all know from 2001: A Space Odyssey, the classic Stanley Kubrick science fiction film. Here on the front cover, this is the character's name is Olivia, and Mia Farrow. She plays Julia Lofting, and her husband is Keira DeLay. His character is Magnus. Tom Conti plays Mark, who's a really good friend of Julia, right here in the back. And the film, it opens up with with Julia and her family. Julia, Magnus, and her daughter. I forgot the daughter's name. They're having breakfast, and the daughter chokes on an apple, which I'm not exactly quite sure how she could choke on that, the way she was eating, unless you absolutely tried. But whatever. In any case, so she chokes on the apple, and apparently these people, they don't know CPR. So she's choking on it, and Magnus says, "Well, I'm gonna go call the doctor." Okay, so you're gonna call the doctor for him to drive on over here, an ambulance to head on over there to perform the Heimlich maneuver on your daughter. Okay, but okay, so apparently they don't know what that is, because he even goes so far, Keir DeLay, or Magnus, he goes so far as to pick her daughter up and hang her, grab her by the ankles, hang her upside down, and tries to shake her and get the apple out that way. And so of course that doesn't seem to be working. So Julia, her, Julia takes more drastic measures and gets a knife and tries to make an incision, for like an air passage, for her daughter to breathe. She was either trying to do that, or she's trying to get the apple out, through the cut, which I think that's what she was trying to do, because she was mentioning how she's got to get it out. There's no time. There's no time, she says. She apparently has to get the apple out, so she panics, and and then of course she's dead. But I think she died already, even before she made that incision, because I think that the apple got to her already at this point. Okay, so it switches scenes where Julia, she's in transition. She's trying to find another place to live, and she's leaving Magnus, which I'm not exactly sure why she would do something like that. Her daughter died, and it's as if she's blaming Magnus for it, which doesn't really make too much sense to me. But in any case, she finds this house, and she takes this tour, and it's a really, really creepy tour, and it's well shot, the way you see like all what all the rooms in this house, and the music excuse me, the music that accompanies it is it's very, very, very creepy as well, and it goes very, very well with the film, and with the scenes. Matter of fact, the whole soundtrack to this is just absolutely perfect. It's like all it is, it's just a piano and this like this synthesizer thing, I guess, which was apparently used quite heavily in the 70s. I'm drinking my instant grain beverage. It's a coffee substitute. Okay, just so you folks know. Okay, but yeah. So anyways, So she takes this tour, and like I said, the music. What's great about the musical score in this, it knows when to cut in and when to cut out. Okay, it's perfect. Okay, and the instruments that they use. And there's some scenes where it's just like the piano instrumental, such as the scene when she's taking a stroll in the park. And I believe the title of that soundtrack, or that score, is called "The Park," and it's quite beautiful and hauntingly beautiful, as a matter of fact. Um, so anyway, she meets an old friend, Tom Conti's character, who is his name is Mark. Okay, and they start talking and everything, and talk about what's going on, and her problems, and what happened. And um, she even starts questioning why, what's she doing, why is she moving into this new place, why did she leave Magnus, because technically, like I said, he didn't really do anything wrong. And of course, Mark, being the kind of friend that he is, he's giving her well, in his perspective, real good advice. But in my personal opinion, it was ill advice. Okay, because saying, trying to justify why it's okay to leave Magnus, which absolutely doesn't make any sense to me, and it's starting not to make any sense to Julia either. And then I'm with her on that. She should go with that gut feeling, because I mean, it's better to be together than alone in situations like this. I can understand maybe if he needed a little break, but he didn't do a damn thing. He didn't do anything wrong, so I don't quite get that. Okay. Yeah, so anyways, she starts also noticing some, strange things in the house, like, strange feelings whenever she's in there. Um, like, for example, like the heater, she would turn it off, and it would just, moments later just turn back on again. And then she'll turn it off again, and it'll just turn back on. And then there comes a point where she starts flipping the switch on and off just to turn it off, and the thing just stays on. It doesn't, of course, doesn't seem like it wants to turn off. So she gets real frustrated, and she basically pulls it out of the socket, but not, it's like stuck on there. So basically, she rips the wires, rips the cord off from the socket, and basically destroys it, like, in that way. And that's, basically the only way she could, turn it off and keep it off. And so, she gets to this point where she decides to hold a seance, and which is led by Mrs. Flood, and she's the medium. And it's Mrs. Flood, of course, Julia. I think it's the mother-in-law. I'm not too clear on that. The mother-in-law, on Magnus's side, Keir Delay's character. Of course, okay, Mark, some other gentlemen, and two other ladies come in, for the seance. And during this seance, Miss Flood, she gets these feelings, So obviously, she saw something. It affected her. She knows something. And when it's all over, here's the thing. You would think, a medium, and of course, I don't think this was free, even though you didn't see any exchange of money. You paid the lady, and I would think you would give a little bit more information as to what you saw to the, to Julia, or to the owner of the house. I mean, how does she keep getting hired if, performing so shabby of a job like that? Okay, she just says, like, you must leave this house. Julia's asking why. What did you see? What did you see? Well, tell the damn woman. I mean, what the fuck? Okay, so she doesn't. So she just keeps it, kind of vague, and says, I saw a girl, and then later on, she changes the story when Julia goes to visit her, and she says, now I saw a boy. Okay, now, later on, she discovers what all these clues are, but it's obvious that Mrs. Flood is holding something back. And just tell her, you want to see a good medium, go watch Insidious, and whoever that, I forgot the character's name, or the actress's name for that matter, but in Insidious, that same, that seance, the one who was holding the seance, she did a fantastic job, I thought, and just was chock full of information, which is what Mrs. Flood should have been. But then again, it's a mysterious film, so maybe that's, the direction they were trying to go with, and it was very, very creepy in that regard. And of course, Mrs. Flood, and the whole seance was very creepy. And another film that had a seance, which was a very similar type of film, type of a classically told ghost story, as this one was The Changeling, which another fantastic, great fellow YouTuber, uh, partner in crime here on the Horror Globe, Simon, and his channel name is Simon Says Movies. Uh, he just did this incredible review of The Changeling, so please definitely go check it out. I think it's called Simon Says Movies First Review for the Globe, The Changeling, something like that. Check it out, and it's a fantastic review. And of course, shoot on over to Simon Says Movies. Swing over to his channel and subscribe to him there as well. He's a great YouTuber. Does fantastic reviews and updates. Okay, so a little shout out, I guess, for this review. Okay, but okay, getting back to this. Okay, so now she knows, that there's like a little girl, so she's thinking it's her daughter who died. Trying to, get in contact with her. She's starting to see her everywhere, like at the school when she goes to the park, and then she sees all the kids, leaving class and everything, cutting out of school, and then she would see like a glimpse of this girl. Another one where she sees her just from the back, sitting there on the steps, doing something. She doesn't exactly know what. When she gets on over there, of course she's gone because she bumps into a kid and the kid distracts her. She gets, her gaze like changes for a moment. When she looks back, of course the little girl is gone. She goes over to where she saw the little girl, and she finds this turtle and a knife. And then of course this woman, and by the way, the film is taking place in London. I forgot to mention that. Okay. And then the woman says, "Mommy, mommy," or the boys, "Mommy, look." Little boy, or okay, that's what he said. And then the girl goes, "What? What you going to do a thing like that for? Are you some kind of nutter? Go on, piss off. Piss off." Okay, so they think that, of course, she did it, but she did not. Okay, so what I thought was, fantastic about this film was, like, I always love these films when the character goes on sort of like a quest, or, uh, does their, tries to solve this mystery or this crime and starts going on this um, sort of like this mission to go in depth, and try to find out what the history about the house and the characters. There's a better word for this. It's basically what Sherlock Holmes does. Just goes from questioning witnesses and stuff like that, because she does do that in this film where she manages to track down you know some of the folks that were friends with Olivia, which is a spirit that's haunting the place. And she basically interviews them and has a little talk with them. She does this out of her own accord, of course. She takes the initiative and starts. She goes to the library and does her research into the house and the murders and what took place back in 1939. And I just absolutely love it when characters do that. And Keir Dulley's character, he's a fantastic actor, and I loved him in 2001, and he was pretty good in this one as well. But you don't see him enough, and he's not in it for, uh, too much of the film. I kind of wish they used him a little bit more. Matter of fact, she should not have left him in the first place. I think it would have been perfect, if they both would have stayed in the house. But then again, that would have kind of distracted from the whole feeling of loneliness that the film was, trying to showcase here. And another thing too, she should have been a little bit more tighter with Mark, her good pal, Tom Conti's character, and taking him out, as sort of like a partner in these things when she's trying to kind of solve this mystery. That's what it is. I love it when characters, go out and try to solve these mysteries about, something. I guess that was, the word I was trying to look for. But she should have taken, Mark with her more, in these things. This is why, of course, Sherlock Holmes has Watson, right? And then of course, hell, have him like move in with you. She also had like a lot of warning. People keep saying, well, number one, Mrs. Flood says, leave the house. And I believe Mark, kind of said, well, if it, bothers you this much, just leave the house. Of course, Magnus, Keir Dulley, tells her, leave this place. What are you doing here? So she should have just left. And of course, in the things you've seen, the only way you can get me to stay in a house like that is if I had an entourage of people. And by entourage, I mean like at least no less than 25, people in a house. And of course, we're trying to dissect the house and tear it apart and see what makes it, tick basically, and try to, you know, solve the clues that way. That's the only way I would do it. That's just me personally. Okay. Um, so let's see here. There's a scene in here with Keir Delay when he kind of breaks into the house because he wants to have a talk with Julia, and he's roaming the house, and of course, like I said, the soundtrack is just absolutely fabulous in this. Blends in well. It gives you that feeling of lonesomeness and just creepiness overall. And he goes on, and he's hearing noises everywhere, so he's going around investigating, thinking it's of course Julia. Goes down to the basement, um, and I have to tell you, there's with the PQ and the AQ, it really comes into play here. Well, throughout the whole film, he goes down there into the basement, and you know, midway down to the steps, and he's yelling out into the darkness, saying, "Julia, get out of here. Let's talk. Okay, to stop acting like a child, all that." And there's a lot of crushing. The black levels. Because of course this is a bootleg copy coming off of a VHS. Um, and he turns around, and apparently he sees the ghost, and we're just gonna leave it right there. You don't see the ghost, and that's the thing. It's not like these modern day horror films, or like the Asian horror films where you're constantly seeing the ghosts, and they're moving, whatever. It's not quite like that with this. Okay, you don't ever really see the ghost. It might have been like one time, and then of course it's the big reveal at the end of the film. Um, but that's it. Everything else, I guess it's very much like the first Halloween, where you don't really see Michael. Okay, it's almost mostly from his perspective, even though you don't really see from her perspective. But you don't. It's more of about the atmosphere, and such as the way that these horror films were made back in the day. Um, but like I said, this being a bootleg, and there really truly needs to be a more proper release of this. Hopefully, Shout Factory, Scream Factory, is do something about that. God willing. I don't think they will, though. Another title of this film goes by, this is The Haunting of Julia, but it also goes by Full Circle. Okay, that's the alternate title to this film. Okay, trying to think what else I can say. Pretty good cinematography in regards to showing how creepy the atmosphere is in a film. Like I said, with the PQAQ, of course, this is just a bootleg off of VHS, so it's not the greatest, but it's still not too shabby at all. Matter of fact, I think it adds to the charm of this film, the graininess. It just makes it feel like old, coming from rough prints and everything. But it's not that bad at all, though. It's just, honestly, it's probably slightly better than VHS quality. Okay, let's put it that way. But still, it's not great at all. Okay, especially now being used to these more immaculate transfers. Okay, but like I said, it doesn't seem to really hurt the film. It adds to it. Of course, in the darkest scenes, there's it's kind of some black crushing, so you can't really make things out. Especially like I told you, that scene with Keir Delay when he's in a basement talking to who he thinks he's talking to, Julia. You can't really see into the darkness. Now I don't know if maybe you could almost see something. At least it looked like there was some kind of movement, but then again, that just might be the transfer. I'm wondering if if it was cleaned up, maybe you might be able to see something. But regardless, like I said, it adds to the charm, because it's home. It's the home. It's like so mysterious and everything. You don't know exactly what's there. Okay. The audio quality is just okay as well. Not the greatest, but still above still above average. Okay. And I don't know what else more can I say. Okay, and I just have to warn you now. This is a slow burn, well crafted, um, classically made ghost story. Okay, not like these modern day horror films, which I still absolutely love them, of course, but this is during the time of this was, I think, in 1979. I could be wrong. I know it's in the 70s, like late 70s. But yeah, it's it's classically told. Okay, so don't expect there to be like all these like jump scares or anything like that. There might have been like one, maybe two. but it's all in all, it's more about the characters, you know, the drama and the crime solving, and the atmosphere, and the scenes and the musical score go hand in hand and work. It works very, very well for this picture. Excellent stuff. Okay. Uh, okay. So now it may not be everyone's cup of tea, but you know it was definitely mine, and I have nostalgia with the film. Okay. So that's why for my final score for this, I would have to give it a solid 4 out of 5 stars. Okay, for The Haunting of Julia. But I just have to warn you, you know, I think, okay, I give it 4 out of 5. It must be absolutely fantastic. And it truly was if you're into the classically told ghost stories, just like The Changeling. And these two make for an excellent double bill. You know, if you have these films, you know, you can still pick this one up. This one you may have a hard time finding. If you can track it down on VHS, go ahead and grab it and then transfer it later on onto DVD. Even though I have that ability, I couldn't track down the VHS, so I just ended up getting this from Bloodwave DVD. Okay, obviously a bootleg company. Okay, the film's in color, 96 minutes. I think it's in 1978 or 1979. Okay, I'm just going to quickly read the back. It's very short here. It says a classical tale of horror, a flawless gem of supernatural mystery, an exemplary chiller, a tale of revenge and remorse set in a London house, reverberating with the guilty apprehension of a woman who, trying to recover from the death of her own daughter, succumbs to the ghost of another long dead child. Or does she? Okay, very creepy indeed. Good stuff. Okay, so there we go. I hope you guys enjoyed this review. Please like, comment, and subscribe to our channel. Subscribe to Simon Says Movies. Check out his the Changeling review. Not to be confused now with the Angelina one, of course. You saw the cover. That's not the Angelina Jolie one. Okay, so check him out. Check out his channel. Check out everyone involved and associated with the Globe. And you know, check out everyone else's reviews that you see on here. Okay, so I hope you guys have a happy Halloween, and farewell.